Welcome back to StarRupture. My name is Nilaus and we are here again with another little guide, and I really want to take a look at these things because they change a lot of how the game is played and addresses some of the rather frustrating part about the game. So this is something we really got excited about when we hit level 7 of Clever Robotics. We could see that we got the cargo dispatcher and cargo receiver, and I have all sorts of dreams about what they are. So today we're going to be unlocking them, we're going to be trying them, we're going to test them, we're going to see that if they do exactly what we want. We're going to be addressing some of the quirks about how they work, and yeah, so let's have a look at it. So I got super excited about unlocking it, and I of course immediately went out, and then you go in here and you go like, yeah, oh crap, it requires those resources that we don't have. So this means that today what we're going to be doing is not just stamping them down, but we're actually going to go in here and we're going to go, actually it's over here for the, no, it's still over here for the recipe station. This is why we were focusing on glass in the previous episode and helium, because, well, that's a new and exciting thing. So we're going to start by making an inductor build, and once we have the inductor, we have the housing, we have the inductor, and we have the glass, and that means we can just be happy and make this. So this is a short inductor build. The inductor is one of the recipes, if I am correct here. I think it's a recipe down here. Yes. So that is coming from ceramics, which is something we have. It comes from tube, something we have, and it's coming from wires. That's something we can easily make. So we're gonna find a place, and then we're gonna drag lines in from the ceramics build, from the tube build, and from the wire. And yes, you're gonna be like, hey, well, how did you get ceramics and tube? That's why we built it on Twitch, and today those are just builds, so I'm not going to cover those. I'm going to cover some things that are a little bit different here. And this is our initial calcite deposit, and this is also where I make ceramics. This is our location where we are building the tubes. So and here we have some location for Wolfram. So if we build a little location here, then we can easily drag a line from there, a line from there, and a line from there. And then that also gets to the point of, yeah, this is kind of how the game is at this stage, where we have to drag lines from different things or rebuild the same build somewhere else. So this is why I'm trying to collect as many things close as possible, also because there's no fast travel. So the first thing we need to do is get over here and set up a new base. We are now at the right location, and we can see we have a Wolfram ready here, and we have this over here is where they have ceramics, and this over here is where we have the tubes. So let's start by building the usual stuff. We're going to be building a little one of these. I don't want to build it too high because then it'll get in trouble with the elevation, but on the other hand, like, we don't want to build it here because then it gets annoying, but we just kind of want to... Funny how it just jumps up. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, but we'll build it somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't really matter where we build it. And then I think we're going to be building this one backwards here, the habitat and just the usual stuff. This one is unfortunately a little wider. There, like that, and it sounds like there's visitors to my base. Oh, look at that! Hello. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, anyway, we got a habitat. We don't have guns or turrets yet. They're not actually that as exciting as they sound, the turrets. So what we're going to do is build sort of our usual idea here for sort of building the little perimeter and building the starter base here. So we build a little base here and a little habitat and some power, and I want to show you something that is okay. One of the really frustrating parts is expanding out here. When you expand out, it just kind of how far can you go out? So I'm trying to sort of devise ideas to how to do this in a smart way. So what I've done is I built the pillars out here, and the pillars, when you build a pillar like this, you can go 6 tiles out exactly. So if you build a pillar 6 tiles out, then you can build another one of these with pillar here. Then that one can again go 6 tiles. And then another one. And then this one can go back. And then of course I have prepared it so that I also have a pillar back here. There. This one can go out here. Exactly 6 tiles out. And I have the same thing down there. Yeah. And that means basically it's gonna be a little bit easier to get this, because now I can cover this entire thing. And that means it's easier to expand here, and it only works to the extent that we can actually make these, what are they called? That one. These pillars here, because if we can't make those pillars, then it can only support, if we do the sort of the double pillars, I don't know how to say that, then they can only support four tiles out. So if it's I have to show this. So these ones can support 6 tiles out, but if I have to use like a double pillar like this and then something on top, then they can only reach 4 tiles out, which is a little annoying that it's not the same thing. But that means that we can actually use this to quite easily, considering how awful this is, then quite easily expand out here and get sort of some kind of reasonable pattern without too many pillars everywhere. So that's actually how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna also expand it a little bit further this way. This one should also be 5 tiles because there's one here, and that one will be the one with pillars. Yes, so that can also be built here. So this is in my opinion, like the easiest way to get around something that's incredibly frustrating in this game is this build logic here. Oh, that was not safe. Lag. Too far away. Cool. So let's get that one done, and we will then have some. I already wanted to bring it in here, that's Wolfram, to build it on this side, but there's no room for it, so we're gonna have to bring it in on the other side. Okay, so we are ready to build. We got a nice little platform. I am actually going to take these 3 lines here. This one will be the line that we're working on, and this one, this tile here, will be where I start putting yes, and yes. There. That's gonna be our starting marker. Right, so what does that mean? Because what I want is this is the one that has to consolidate. So I want from here this Wolfram coming in here, and that needs to make into a box. That's a fabricator, and we can then make that fabricator right here. We're just gonna set the recipe, and then that will be here. This will make 4 every 2 seconds. Ah, okay, so this one actually has to go a little bit backwards, because I do need then a consolidation of this before going in. Here, then we go backwards. Whatever. It's fine. Fabricator, that will be here. That one. 2 of these. And then it'll be 1 smelter here. That will be here. And that will come from this location. And that means we get there. So it goes smelting into these 2. That gets us 1 per second. And then it goes from here. Then this one will be the consolidation of the inbounds here, the inbound from over here, and the inbound from over there. I don't know what this cloud is doing. Weird. But that comes in here. So from here, we're going to get 3 things in. And that means I just need... I'll do this. And then I want to make it into some furnaces. Yep, they are rotating the wrong way. Crazy that they decided that. That's the wrong height. It's always. Have to press Alt all the time. Yeah. So the funny thing is, like, I built the platform a little bit the wrong place. Because I just need 3 of these. I should have built it over there. Never mind. It's a nice big flat platform. Or I could also have this. It just seems kind of a little silly to do it this way, so we'll move it a little bit over. And then we'll do this pattern instead. There we go. Take you out and rebuild this. Good. So now the only thing we need is, well, actually we do need some more on the outside here. I'm going to need to get that. And then we are also going to get a box where we store things. Switch it over. There. And then from here we might need to get inductors into some research, if we have some research that requires inductors. I can't remember, but we'll find out. So now just need to hook it all up, and then it should be fine. I've never seen anything like this. This is after a rupture, but Does this mean that this is destroyed, or what the hell? What is this? Like, is it infected? What the hell? It's not working, at least. This looks buggy as hell. I have no idea. Like, can I click anything? No? It's totally uninteractable. So I wonder if this has been destroyed or what. I have no idea. So anyway, if you have any idea what this is, because there's not exactly like there's a lot of explanation. Yeah, that's odd. What if we try to make another power core next to it? No, I can't, and I can't delete the existing one. I can't delete anything here. This is so weird. That just looks, I'm just gonna call it a bug, because if it's not a bug, then it's a feature that they forgot to explain. Like, there's no way for me to interact with this. So if this was destroyed, then there should be like an option for just going over here and click on repair or something to that effect, right? I'm going around. This is the base core, so this is like the one thing that the most important thing. What about you? Airlock manifestation. Hold to lower temperature. Open. That is so weird. That is so weird. None of this makes sense. I think I found out. There we go. That... Maybe. Maybe there's more of this? There was definitely a little blob there. Does that change anything? No? Okay. But there was like a blob, so I think this has been attacked. Okay, so these are now kind of functional. So something got more functional. Okay, so this one's not functional. Does that mean that there's a infestation? Oh, look at that. It might actually be reverting now. Okay. So that's how it works when things get interrupted. That's interesting. Never seen that before. Well, usually my bases don't get overrun. So it looks like now the base here is slowly reverting to normal, and I guess this is the one that's reverts slowest. It's kind of turning red more than blue. Okay, so there was so not a bug, but just a feature that, well, now you know what happens or how that happened, and looks like this one is coming back online soon. There we go. It starts huffing and puffing and cooling down again. Good. Can we click it? No? Somehow we can still... Oh, there we go. Now we can click it. Okay. So that should cool everything down. Okay, the base is working again. Okay, well, now we know. We know that that's how... what happens when a base gets infested. Everything is now hooked up and ready to go. So the only thing the reason why nothing is coming in is because I have deliberately not set these recipes up. But as soon as we set the recipes up here, then they will start requesting the ceramics and the tubes from the 2 different locations. And as soon as we set the first smelter up here to do Wolfram, then we should see the Wolfram coming out here, as well as we should be seeing, there we go, we are seeing the ceramics coming in from this side, and over on this side we should, hopefully, if everything is working, this is a bit of a longer path. Yes, we see something coming in, so that must be the tubes. Alright, so the first thing is coming in. It goes in here, it spreads out into all the different places. I think this line might be constrained, but we'll see, we'll see. This over here wants to just fill up in 100 to each of them, so it's going to be a little bit strained until this one comes in, and then it's going to be like completely overflowing. But over here we're seeing...
Arcadia status stable.
There we go. We're starting to see some production of the inductor. So with the inductor done, that actually means we now have the ingredients we need for making the construction parts. And what I'm going to do is I am going to build, because we need the construction parts to do these discharges. I'm going to go run up here to the base core up here. This is where we built the glass last time, so I'm going to pick up some glass. I'm going to wait for come back. Then I'm going to pick up some induction here. Then I'm going to go ahead all the way back and then get some housing, so we can build some of the new things, so we can actually start seeing how it works. We've now made it back, and we can now go to the station here, gated printer, get that in, which means I actually lost a little bit of this. That's fine. We're gonna go over here, and then we're gonna be changing over to make some of these, and they take 20. So there, I can make. Oh wow! I just spent 4,000 building materials to get. Yeah, okay. Well, we got 2,000 of the new intermediate building materials. Great. So what we're gonna do first is we are going to just do a little test to see what it actually does, because yeah, it's I think it's more important that we figure out what it does than before we start implementing it. So now we can't build anything else, but we can build a cargo dispatcher, which has one input, and I really want to build it a little bit out because I do need a. Okay, we're gonna go get some more construction parts. We should have those in here somewhere. And that is this one. This one's still standing with some construction parts, and then it sent a little bit more construction parts over here. So we'll grab a little bit. How much we got? Yeah, we got a little more than the 1,000, so that's fine. Then we will go back, and over here we will also be making a. Oh, this one is the wrong look. This is a 4 wide, so that means the inserters are on the wrong place. Cargo dispatcher. Turn it our way here, and then. Left click, that means it gets 5 wide, and that means it comes in from the right location. I will build one of these, and here. There. Basically what I just want to do is I want to set something in here, and then we're going to be sending it out. So let's just say some glass, for example. No, it shouldn't be glass. It should be some. See, funny that I put something in here. Okay, now it comes back. So it should be something I have plenty of. What can we send? Can I send ammo? Yeah, we can send ammo. I have lots of ammo. And we're not going to use it right now. So we put ammo in here. Then we get a line out here. And then we want to get a receiver next to it. Let's build a receiver a little bit further away, just for good measure. Here. And the receiver will be then over here. So the receiver should be, well, you guessed it, receiving. And yes,
Good
it works.
work. The cargo dispatcher and receiver are 2 devices that work with each other. Now you
Hopefully.
can send items between 2 distant points.
And
This will surely help expand your production.
I hope so. Then we're just going to bring it back to the same location. So here's the thing. Let's have a look at the interface. This one has a drone, and it just says that it can receive 3 things. It can be changed. This one can test receiver. Good. We don't have enough characters to write a meaningful thing. And this is then test dispatcher. There. That was a difficult one. And then it says we check, and then we get a list of what we can send it to. We can send it here. So that means it now has to go into 300. That was not a good choice to do this. Let's choose something else. How do I do that? There. And then this one is complaining. Hold E to delete, and this one will just
what
take
I need.
something else. Something else. We're going to be taking the plates. They construct fast. So we'll go grab some plates, and it will be... Actually, this one is the fastest one we can get, so we'll do that instead. That'll go in here. This will change to that one. Get this inbound, inbound, inbound. Now it's happy. And I'm going to send here. You are going to be changing to Wolfram plates. They're going to fly in. Good. And then we have a receiver set up. Test receiver. There we go. 23 meters away. It's very important that you name them. Otherwise, you can't figure out, because otherwise it just says the distance from it. So what happens now is that when it fills up, and this is something I'm not... I think they forgot to think about it. Let's just put it like as a kind way. What happens now? There we go. So now it's full. Then it starts packaging it to send it, but it doesn't get the next package in. That's disastrous. Why is that? And then it goes up, and it's immediately coming down. It actually is more than instant coming down. So it's instant transfer after that. But the problem is that it fills up to 100, and then it waits 10 seconds. That means it's 10 seconds where the belt is not moving. And 10 seconds of 10 seconds is 10 per second that it is not getting in here. So in order to make 10 seconds, the belt is transporting 4 per second. So if this one is stuck for 10 seconds where it's not receiving, that's actually 10 seconds times 4, that's 40 that it's not receiving. It's, yeah, so it takes some time to fill up, and then it waits here. How long time? It takes 2.5 seconds to, no, it takes 25 seconds to fill this one up, and then it waits for 10 seconds, so that means on a 35-second cycle, we lose 10 seconds. It's disastrous for throughput. So that means that if you want to get full throughput, you actually need multiple dispatchers. Yeah. And the easy, obvious choice is have multiple locations where they can fill up, so that while it's charging one, it fills up the next one. Exactly like rocket silos in Factorio in Space Age. So anyway, here's another thing that I am not super happy about. You can't set the sender from the receiver, which means that, for example, what we want to do, we want to go over here and set up sending of glass, so we can send glass back here, because it's a long way. But I can send the receiver here. I can set up the receiver before I leave, but I have to go all the way out here to set at the sender to send it at the dispatcher to set the receiver. I can't do it the other way around. So that means that, for example, if you want to go out here and set a dispatcher at the glass, you have to remember that to build the receiver first. So that's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're actually going to make an automated build for this part. Because why not? We have the things, we have inductors, we have glass, and they're really far away, so I don't want to go all the way out there to get those things when I need it. So I want it to be brought back automatically and then automatically built in here. So we're going to be using or leveraging our build somewhere. We'll also be using it for the science, which will be the best thing that it can use for. So we can just bring it back here when we have some science. So we'll actually have receivers for science moving forward. But anyway, what I'm building here is basically a two-way system. So the first line goes this way and the second line goes that way, which means that anything I'm building here can also be consolidated. So I'm going to build a little build out here where we'll be making the construction parts, because I can take the construction parts from here and out. Yeah, let's do that. So a slight change of plans. What we're seeing now is I have built two receivers over here by our launchers. I have set all the launchers up. One of them set them up to receiving heat resistant shield, and I've called this one launcher heat resist, because there's not enough characters for absolutely no reason. And here there is the other one is set for stabilizers, and this one will then be launcher stabilizer. We don't have those yet. I also realized that this one can't be made. The intermediate building materials have to be built in a mega press. So we don't have a mega press, so that's not working. What we do want is we want to make something here. So we can basically take any input output. Let's take this one, because what we want is we want to actually build something here to this space, because now we have it. So let's make sure that we actually build it. Here I am going to get a receiver that will be a receiving glass. I can actually be built here. Let's do it like this. There you go. And then you will actually be here. And then I have to remove you. So what I'm going to build is I am going to build... this will receive glass. And then I'll get the other things here, because I want a furnace build. And that furnace build will be built... I'll build it here. So the furnace build we want is going to make the heat resistant shield, because that's something we have almost all the things here, or we have two of the things here in the main base, which not really doing anything. And then we have the last is glass. So that would be a good example of something we could do. And I just realized that I did not build it far enough out. That's always the case. So these are going to be consolidated here and then put into a box. You know, maybe I'll do it in a little bit different way, so it doesn't go all the way out to the edge, because it's also going to conflict with this. So I might actually just do a little bit of a different pattern here. So it goes out, then it comes into, let's say, this location, and then it goes into a box. Where's the box? That's here. That will be a... yeah, let's make it like this. And then it'll be going out into a receiver afterwards, and that, or a dispatcher, which is here. Make it wider, and that will be exactly like this. So I got kind of used the whole thing. And then let's patch it all up, but not set the recipes yet. So we hooked up all of the wires, or all the rails, and this one would be the heat resistant shield. We don't have any of those. And this one will be called heat resist this. So this is just providing heat resistance, and it's probably providing it to launchers. This one will be, it's gonna call heat resist because that's the build, but it is going to be glass inbound. There. Now the thing is, I haven't built the glass, and I need to set up the glass to send here before I do anything else. So that means I now need to run and thank the YouTube editing capabilities for me. I have to run, but you don't have to watch me run back and forth for half an hour.
Grenade!
So we're going to build a dispatcher here at the new location, and we're going to be hooking up the glass to the new one. There. And the thing is, like, obviously what I'd really like to do is make multiple of these so that I could already send out multiple glass to other locations, but I can't do that because, yeah, there's only, you can only do one of, you have to set the dispatcher. So me sort of being like, hey, awesome, I would just be sending it out here, but that doesn't work. I'm just gonna push it in. So this one is now dispatching it over. So what I mean is, like, even if I built multiple dispatchers to prepare for future, I would have to come back anyway to set them up to actually dispatch. And that's, yeah, that's just how it is. So this goes in and it starts sending. That's good. So we are now getting glass back to our factory. So running back all the way back again. We are now back here at our original base, and this one is the one that's set up to receive glass, and we can see that it is 3 boxes full of glass. It's not coming anything out because this has not been set up to anything that needs glass. So as soon as we do this, then it will hopefully start requesting stuff inbound. And I built 3, but I think it's on a 4-second cycle. Yeah, it's 4-second cycle, but I just like 3. So this is now coming in, and we're now also getting the 3rd one inbound, and yes, it'll be oversaturated, but if we look at it, how much we need 1, 2, 3, 4 items every 4 seconds, so that's 1 per second, and times 3, that's the 3 per second. So over time, it should be able to satisfy it. This belt should not be the constraint. It should be the build. I could build 4, but I'm about to building 4. This is definitely enough. We're gonna get in here. This one will be a filling up with heat resistant shield now. So all I need to do is now set the heat resistant shield, set it over to the launcher with heat resistant shield. Now obviously I could also just drag a belt over there because it's all over there, but hey, we got a new cool feature, so let's try that one out and see how that works. So this one will slowly fill up as this one is working. Let's just wait and see when we get the first ones coming in. We can go over here and just wait for that to come in. And let's see. It will be... This is the heat resistant. Cool. So let's stand here, patiently wait for the first drone to come in. There we go. It's coming out. And the drone, I think, is not even... There we go. And now the drone lands. So there's a little bit of timing issue there. But it doesn't matter because it's coming out. And this is coming in with 100 at a time. And then it'll keep flowing. And there we start launching. So here is my strong recommendation. build it something like this, where the next thing we'd want to do is we'd want to go out here and make our stabilizers somewhere out in the world. So before you go out, you set up a receiver, you set up these to receive the stabilizer and all that stuff, and then you go out, because then you can, when you build your remote base, you can build a dispatcher and then send it back here and it'll work immediately. If you do it the other way around, then you have to, if you go out and build the dispatcher, the remote base and a dispatcher, but don't have a receiver, then you have to go back, build the receiver, and then go back out again to set the dispatcher. So definitely build the receiver first, and then go out and build the dispatcher. That's just a strong recommendation with the way it is right now. I think they've done it this way so that you can't just set a receiver and then just have this receiver select the dispatcher, because then you could just, when you go to a new base, you could just have everything on a dispatcher and then you set a receiver and just alternate between the different dispatchers and then sort of summon materials, which I don't think is a bad idea as such, but it's not what they want apparently. So there we have it. We've now found out what the dispatchers and receivers do, and they do amazing things. This means that it works.
Is in its stable state.
Thank you for the interruption.
So of Arcadia is returning to normal.
Yeah, so this means that it's just, it makes a lot more sense to build small remote bases, which this game incentivizes, because now we can transport things easily without long rails between bases. Very nice. The throughput is lacking something. It needs to be at least able to handle a throughput of a belt, and it is currently not. So that's something I would hope that they would fix in a future update, so that we can actually get a better throughput. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section good, bad ideas. And we also discovered this part about what it looks like when a base gets infected. So that's also cool. Until next time, take care and stay effective.